Welcome to the World Economic Forum meeting on Europe and Central Asia here in Vienna. Georgia hopes to boost foreign investment dramatically, but many investors still remember the war with Russia in 2008. Why should you invest there? Let's talk to Georgia's Prime Minister Nika Gilauri. Mr. Gilauri, how would you rate the political risk at the moment in Georgia?
Actually, minimum.
Why?
Georgia have actually gone through very transformative changes in the very recent years, and despite all that, economy is booming. We have got out of recession strongly and fastly. Last year's growth was 6.4%. This year we expect even higher growth, and there are more and more investors coming to Georgia, confident about Georgia's growth, because the reforms that we have done in our country in the past years are proving to be successful. The fundamentals of economy is very healthy, and many companies identify Georgia as their basic point for investing in the wider region. So they come to Georgia, invest in Georgia, and afterwards they grow in the rest of the region.
But foreign investment last year still fell way below the target. You attracted only half of what you expected to attract. What will be different this year?
This year we are having serious investments in tourist industry, in banking sector, in different types of industries. Export has grown by 40%, and in energy sector. We are having, for example, 5 new hydropower plants have started construction just in recent months. Huge number of new hotels are being constructed, and the constructions will be done this year and next year. And we are seeing many large companies, large corporations coming to Georgia and being interested in Georgia.
How much FDI do you expect this year?
Up to $1 billion.
And next year?
A bit more than that. I would forecast that at this stage. Yeah.
What is your outlook for trade with Russia? Can it be restored in any foreseeable future?
Our main trading partner was Russia a few years ago, but then there was a ban of Georgian products to Russia, which actually helped Georgian businessmen to diversify their markets. Right now, our main trading partner is European Union. 24% of our trade of Georgia comes with the European Union. Next one is Turkey. Next one is United States, Azerbaijan, China. So right now, trade of Georgia is so diversified that we don't depend on one single country or one single commodity in terms of exports or imports. About future trade with Russia, I can tell you that we are exporting electricity right now to Russia, and there is, of course, potential and possibility to export other products as well.
It's interesting that Georgia is opposed to Russia's WTO entry, yet the chair of the group negotiating Russia's accession to the WTO guided WTO members that Russia's entry will happen by the end of the year, and Georgia didn't publicly object to the guidance. What has changed in your attitudes towards it?
We had and we have and we will have one and the same objective about WTO negotiations with Russia. And this is for Russia to follow all WTO rules. One of them is transparent customs checkpoints. And this is the only request that we have towards Russia for them to enter WTO. And this remains our main objective for these negotiations.
But while you still didn't publicly object to that guidance, you expect Russia to become the WTO member by the end of the year?
We'd love for Russia to become WTO member, but with that condition, that all WTO rules should be followed. WTO is an organization where if the old rules are not followed, then it doesn't matter if it exists or not at all. So one of the main rules of WTO is trade across the borders, transparency of checkpoints. This is the only and main our demand that we have for Russia in order for them to enter the WTO.
And back to the Georgian economy, is inflation your big concern?
Inflation is one of the concerns and was one of the concerns, but we are seeing right now it's fading away. The last 4 months, inflation, month-to-month inflation was 0. So we think that it's...
What inflation rate do you expect by the end of the year, full year?
Single digit. I wouldn't go that far to give you exact figure, but single digit.
Many thanks to Georgian Prime Minister Nika Gilauri here in Vienna for the World Economic Forum meeting on Europe and Central Asia. You can watch more interviews, including the interviews with Prime Ministers, on our platform. This is Reuters. I'm Kirill Sokotsky.